Well, greetings. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the 87th episode. Actually, I think it's 88th. I'm going to have to change that. Remember, money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's like oxygen on the gotta have it scale. Hi, I'm Tom Qnity from Qnity. We're here to help you create a clearer and simpler path to greater prosperity using the new rules, which is simple, visual, and actionable. And essentially, we offer is financial wellness for pro beauty students, employees, and leaders. A couple things that's coming up. We have a Money SBO workshop in the Twin Cities coming up in September. It's going to be awesome. We're going to go through the Qnity system for profitability. We call it Profit Pyramid. We also refer to as Profit Steps. That'll be led by Candice Gliato. And we'll go through several profit principles. So if you haven't signed up for that program, and if you have an interest, you can go to our website or talk to anybody from our team. We also have announced the launch of Money Pro, which is a benefit for employees that you can offer to become a first choice employer. So we opened up enrollment for this during the fill last month, and we are super excited about this. And then, of course, we previously have introduced, and we're now in, I believe, 94 campuses and over 14,000 students in our Money for Student program. We also have a coaching service that we'd be pleased to talk to you about. To prosper, manage your ATM, your attention, time, and money. It's not lost on us today that this is your precious time, so thanks for spending it with us today. Our last guests were actually Aaron and myself. We were talking about a potential proposed recession that many are referred to as being the recession or in the recession. I don't know that we've really crossed that line yet, but we talked about it last week. This week, we're going to have Mo Murphy joining us. We love to have great stories about a career in beauty. And certainly Mo has had a great career in beauty, and there's certain aspects of her journey that I'm so excited to share with you. So you'll get to meet Mo in a few minutes. Past recordings are posted on our YouTube channel and then also in our profit portal. Welcome not just to salons and spas and but also to schools. So this is really for the pro beauty ecosystem. Light bulb moments of the week. Well, so much of my time has been related to the compensation study, and it continues to evolve. So I've just got some quick updates for you. First of all, phase one is completed. Phase one, we previously shared what we did, how we did it, findings, inviting input, keeping momentum. So phase one, we had 51 companies involved. For those of you that were a participant in that study, if you're not able to listen to or be part of one of our live sessions, I think we had most of you there that walked you through the study, all the details. We had 2 live calls. We recorded that. Report will be sent out by email next week, along with the recording in case you missed that. So our first duty is to the participants. And I think that most of you have either seen the findings, but we're going to be sending out more information on that next week. We're now moving very active into phase 2, which is a much more collaborative effort. We are continuing to lead this. We're going to go deeper in the same segment, and the segment is independently owned, full service salons in North America, various price points, 20 or less locations. And our goal for phase 2 is to make this a much bigger study, more data, go deeper, continue to have the same input sheet so that we have consistency with the phase 1 participants, but we're going to dramatically expand the questionnaire to give a lot more information about compensation. How to get involved. We will be opening it up to a next group of participants. Our goal is to get to 300 businesses, which is quite bold. It's 6 times what we did the first time around. If you're not in that study, send us an email about getting involved, and we'd love to have you. We also are building out, or we have a web page built out for this that gives you all the questions, how to sign up, and that should go live next week. It's important we keep this momentum high because the findings that are coming out of this study is huge. And we've lacked this kind of data for a long time. So it's really become a very important project for me personally. I'll get into that a little bit more in a little bit. So phase 2 is we closing phase 1 findings. We're going to expand this study in size, scope, and purpose, continue high standards of confidentiality, non-disclosure, disclosing conflicts of interest, all that kind of stuff. We're adding to the team and adding collaborators. And also because this is research is very expensive, we're lining up funding partners for that. So this is a little bit more of a deeper dive than we need to get into today, but it's all laid out. This will also be on the website in terms of what's different on phase 1 and phase 2. We'll be issuing a gray paper on phase 1 sometime in July that will be presented to the public. And then phase 2 will end in September. So the gray paper on that will be released in October. There'll also be other things in this information comparing to other industries and quite a bit more depth than we got into in phase 1. Phase 3 is we're going to do this in 2023, so we can we'll repeat the same study. We then can do trends. We can add segments. So next steps: advocate for it, help us find funding partners, outreach to get participation, provide input. This is something that's for the good of the industries. Good of the industry. My light bulb number 2 actually relates back to the compensation study. And part of the compensation study is us doing research. And there's some very basic questions that could not be answered that led us into doing the study to begin with. And it seems that the more research I do, the more I realize about this gaping hole that we have, and that is a lack of data in this industry. And so the other aha is no big surprise there. But the other thing is, in order for us to really go forward and continue to do high quality studies, whether it's compensation or 2 to 10 or whatever, there has to be, because we're going to be doing more of this. We need to do more of this, and it needs to be done in the industry. And we're just a cog in the wheel here, but we feel like we want to take a leadership position in this and to really jumpstart to get more data going with a lot of help. But here's my other aha. We need to carve out, and we're creating an arm within Qnity that creates, we've always had these boundaries around confidentiality and who sees data and all of that. And only 2 people that saw the data, and 3 people saw the data in the compensation study. And but our coaches don't see it. Members of their team don't see it. So we are just for integrity and all of that. Not that we don't trust them and not that they're good humans and all of that. But the other thing is we're inviting a blue chip advisory board. And so we're creating an arm within Qnity that's specifically around data and research. So I think what we're doing is putting a stake in the ground here, say this is really important. We're going to do our part. And by creating a separate division, it allows our funds to be very much allocated for it. We're going to need to bring in new team members. And so this is really a long-term commitment. So this is a quiet announcement that actually means quite a bit. All right. So those are my light bulb moments. Those are some things to share from the community. I am super excited today because I love stories, especially stories about a career in beauty. So let's have Mo Murphy come off mute and on camera. Mo, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing really well today. Thanks.
So, I wasn't going to go here first, but I'm going to now. Okay. So when I reached out to you about being a guest, it's like, geez, normally I don't have this time available, but this week I do. So this is a tee up for you. I mean, you have a big thing going on this afternoon in your family. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so my husband is actually getting a kidney transplant today. He is on we in Minneapolis and his donors in Indiana. So his part of the surgery doesn't come until later today at 4. So I actually am not in the salon today. So when Tom reached out to see if I could do this, I'm like, actually I can. But I checked with my husband, like, are you sure? Is this all right? Because, if you need me here emotionally and not, pulled away for a little bit, that's fine. But he's like, nope, go for it. And yeah, so that will be the second part of my day. This is the first part of my day.
And this is a really good thing.
It's a wonderful
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time that we've been waiting. So it's awesome.
All right, wonderful. Well, you'll have to keep us posted.
I will.
So we had a conversation last week, and I'm always love career and beauty stories because there's so many different paths that can be taken. And certainly my path has had all sorts of journeys in pro beauty, and yours and most people on here have their own past. But there's a couple things about yours that really intrigued me. And we've had plenty of individuals that I've invited to be guests from the school side of the business. And we've had school leaders, but I don't believe we've ever had an instructor on here. And I'm super curious to just get into the hearts and minds of instructors out there. And now I'm going to kind of summarize your career in a nutshell here, then we'll unpack it. But basically stylist, also national educator, open your own salon, close your own salon, become stylist, now stylist slash instructor at a local beauty institute, the Aveda Institute Minneapolis.
Yep.
Quite a journey, and you've had some money lessons along the way.
Yep.
So take us through. So you a little bit about the first chapter. So started your career, became a stylist. You're from the Twin Cities then?
No, I'm actually from Northeastern Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, when I wanted to come to school, I was told Aveda was the only place to go if you really wanted to do well. And when I went to school in 1994, that was the only one, was in Minneapolis, the flagship. So that's why I came up here.
Mm-hmm. And you love the Twin Cities. You're still here.
Okay. I am. Yep.
All right. Now, so you become a stylist, and then what led you to open up your own salon?
Working for somebody that wasn't a good owner. And
okay.
It was, she was a very nice person, but I could just see some things that I just felt like I could do better.
Okay. So you open up your salon, and it's in a neighborhood where you don't have connections, and you opened it during the recession. Kind of take us there for a moment.
It was thrilling and exciting, and it took maybe a month to realize that, the money thing was not going very well. We just didn't get off the ground. And lots of different things. That was actually coincidentally when my husband kind of got sick the first time. He had his first transplant in 2009, and we opened in 2008. But it was also recession, and there were things that I knew, but there were so many things that I didn't know, and I had to learn along the way. And then just other things, he actually got laid off from his job a week before we opened the salon. I sometimes forget about that part, but all of a sudden this business that is brand new, it is an infant, has to pay all of our bills. And that was probably the foundation of a lot of the problems that we had.
Okay, so I'll get to the punchline here. You close that business.
Yep.
Okay. And in retrospect, you probably weren't prepared in the money side of the business.
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah. There were things we would have done differently to get started.
Yeah. And, you had a perfect storm of things, bad stuff happening too, so how long was the salon open then?
About 4.5 years.
And then
sometimes I'm amazed we made it that long.
And you mentioned to me it took you a long time to be able to even talk about that. How long did it take for you to actually talk about the closing of the business? It was so emotionally, whatever reason you didn't talk about it, but how long before you even could talk about it?
Probably at least, with anybody other than my husband, probably at least a year, maybe more. It felt like a death.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, and you're not the first person to close a salon.
No.
And obviously all sorts of things race through your mind, but life evolves and your journey has evolved. So then you go to working as a stylist, and then you're also a national educator, and you've done that for how long?
2005 until the beginning of this year. So like 15 years, something like that, 15 or 16.
So how did you get into instructing then? So
It's in my DNA. Both my parents were teachers at certain points, and that's just a thing that I know I'm good at. So whatever else happens, like it's just, and I enjoy it. Teaching doesn't feel like work to me, especially when it's a really powerful moment or class or day.
yeah, you had some quotes. I should have had them handy here now that I think about it, about how much joy it brings to you, the whole teaching piece. It really fills your bucket.
Yep.
And now it's funny because you've really used a lot of your own money lessons and maybe things that you would have done different to inspire other people. So you're way past kind of talking about closing the salon and now inspiring others about different things, because your money situation has dramatically improved.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And how did you get the money skills? Because you didn't learn it in school. You didn't learn it, so how did you get the money skills? Just trial and error, you and your husband, or?
No, it was actually I had to, when I was running the business. I've gone through a few different programs of different strategizing and coaching and things like that. And I had a coach who was great for me. I need somebody who will get directly to the point and kick my butt when necessary. And he was the one who was like, nope, you don't get to have a miscellaneous line in your budget. Nope, you have to do this and this and this, and you have to keep track of every penny. And he wouldn't let me get away with anything. And it was wonderful. Even though the salon didn't make it, those lessons stuck.
And they carried into your personal financial management.
Yep.
And so what are some improvements to your personal financial management that you've started to learn and implement in your household?
Well, actually, I kind of wound up figuring out how to strategize the shutdown from 2020 to my advantage, because I still had, post business, we owed money on things. We owed the IRS some stuff, there was some stuff to clean up. But when the lockdown hit and everything was like, first of all, the state of Minnesota is great when it comes to unemployment. So I did not have to worry about money there. That helped. But I had the mortgage put on, what do they call it when you can pause it?
No, I'm looking, it's not deferment, it's a forbearance.
Forbearance.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, yep.
Okay, so I put the mortgage on forbearance, and I realized that I could still afford the mortgage, but what might make more sense is to take the mortgage money and use it to pay off all my debts. So I just kept the mortgage on forbearance for the whole year. We had just bought the house a couple years earlier. So we're not really going to lose too much by putting a pause button on it for 9 months or whatever it ended up to be. But I took all of that money that, I wasn't spending on the mortgage and paid off all the rest of our debts. I mean,
all of the rest
almost
of the
all of it, probably 80 to 90% of them.
And what type of debt did you retire?
Some credit card, tax, and I had some personal loan stuff that, we had gone through. There was medical debt, lots of different things. And then I ended up paying off the car early too.
So at Qnity, we call that getting closure. And after you get closure, how did you feel?
It was amazing. This is, I've always been kind of the one who liked the money stuff in our household, and that's been fine. My husband and I talk about it just enough. Neither of us is doing anything the other doesn't know about. It's kind of not his jam and it is mine. But when we got done with paying all this stuff off, it was like, okay, we are never going back. Okay.
Mm,
We're not going to cut up the credit cards, but we're going to do it smart. We're going to
mhm,
actually use cash to pay for things. We're not going to run up the cards again. We're not going to do anything that doesn't benefit us in a good way. I like
mhm.
Susie Orman, and she talks about debt versus bad debt. So we actually did open up more debt, but we opened up more debt to redo our kitchen, and that just got done. Like, we took out just part of the home equity, not the whole deal, but part of it to do the kitchen. Like, do things that you'll get back and that you'll be able to enjoy. But other than that, like, there's no debt for vacations, there's no debt for, you know, going out and doing things like that. It's like only smart money choices. Because I don't want to have to be in that situation again where we owe all that money.
I was referring to my notes and I forgot about something you mentioned to me. And I've heard similar stories about making payroll.
Oh yeah.
And we hear from Candice Gliato that was a turning point in her career, when she had to use her husband's paycheck to pay for payroll, and that was like a never again. What did you have to do? You told me what you had to do to make payroll. What was it?
I had to sell my car
Sell
to
your
make pay.
car?
Yes.
How did you get
We
around?
well, we had two cars.
Okay.
It's just that one car, we would have preferred to sell his car, but it wasn't paid off, and mine was. And really, the only reason that we didn't sell that it would have been better to sell his car is that mine was better in snow. His was a rear wheel drive. So we lived close enough that I could take the bus and the train to get to work. And we have learned, we still only have one car. So
Mm.
it just, that kind of turned out to be an okay situation for us. But yeah, I had to sell a car. Actually, I borrowed money from my mom and sold the car to pay her back, because I needed that money like now.
Yeah, well, I've asked this question to owners for I don't know how long. How many of you at some point in your career as a salon owner have had some struggles with money? And I think it's 100%. I don't know that of any, maybe there's one person that may have said, "Oh, I didn't," but you're not the Lone Ranger. A lot of people are chiming in. I didn't directly ask the group, but I'm seeing they're responding. So, and that's not just the salon industry. The salon industry is a razor thin margin industry. They're micro businesses under 5 million. But small businesses really, struggle with that. But and I love, you sound to me like you're frugal.
Yes.
Yeah. I love frugal. You know what I hate? Cheap. Hate
Cheap.
cheap, love frugal.
Yep.
And frugal is you value your money enough that you're very intentional about how you spend it and you're willing to make sacrifices. Okay. What's cool also that inspired me about our conversation is that you moved to a point where what did you say? You get like geeky about money these days, and you really have just developed an interest, and you would like to see more have success. So you're really passionate about students becoming successful, and you have lots of confidence around money, and it's a place it's a place where you can make an impact. So we have our money course in schools, and including at where you're at. And how cool is it to have you there in person to see the students and to work with the instructors?
Your audio is kind of cutting out a little bit for me.
My audio's cutting out. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Okay, sorry about that. So why is it important for you to inspire students about money skills?
One, it's just important in general. Two, not enough people get money skills in high school or any type of thing. And I just sort of feel like the system is sort of game towards people who get those money skills from birth. If their parents were really, if there was a lot of money to manage, you probably learned how to manage. But even people that don't make a lot of money can still manage it well. Just it's not necessarily taught.
Mhm.
And I also think that there's student people drop out of our business way too soon. And if we can keep more people in the business longer, then that helps everybody.
Mm.
um it does. It's just it helps everybody. It helps salon owners, it helps stylists. Like, I see so many people that drop out just before they're gonna make it and actually be able to make good money. But it takes a little while in our business. So I think if people can learn sooner how to manage the money so that they are comfortable enough to keep going with the business, then that helps everybody. And then people who are, older stylists, if they want to retire, they can retire.
Mm.
Younger stylists can take over those clients and do right by them and have the money and have what they need, but they need to learn how to manage it. And I mean, I never did. I was fine. I didn't bounce checks or anything, but I certainly didn't have like a big 401k going when I was in my 20s. I didn't have a lot of that. I just, all my bills got paid. So yay.
So your pain and your perfect storm of what happened with the closing the salon and all of that, and you've transformed into experiences that you can teach others so it doesn't happen to them. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So it could be that the greatest influence you have in life came from one of your biggest tragedies.
Totally. I think that's where you learn the most. Is the biggest pain is the biggest teacher. And you have to get to a point where you can talk about it. Like, now I think about some of those things and they're not only not as painful, they're actually, some of them are really funny.
Mm.
But the yeah, I think that you learn more from mistakes than you learn from anything else.
Yeah. Well, you learn, and in your case, you teach. You learn and teach, right?
Yep.
Because now you're in a position of influence. We're all in a position of influence, but you're in a position as an instructor
Hmm.
that you not only can learn, but you can teach. How cool is that?
I love it.
Yeah.
I will tell, when I was a cutting instructor, I would tell everybody about the worst hair cutting mistakes I made. Again, they were funny too. When I'm teaching with the students, I tell them all the oopsies, like everything, the mistakes with cut and color, the mistakes with money, the mistakes with anything. Like, if you can learn from my mistakes, then you can make your own and learn from those too. But at least you got a heads up on somebody else's mistakes.
Well, when you said you're off the charts, bonker excited about the money program coming to students, that type of enthusiasm will help bring it alive. Because
Hmm.
you have a student that's like, oh, is this one more course, but an instructor like you, I mean, has to be hugely inspirational. I got to imagine that other instructors could have the opportunity to have a little rub off on them, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Because well, you get excited about things when other people are excited about them. You kind of get a little more intrigued. And I don't think you can fake excitement about something. So I'm hoping that that's something I can translate to other instructors, and then they can translate it to their students. I can
So,
translate it to more of mine.
so you've actually been through the full course, the entire course 2 times. Is that right?
Yes, I watched the whole course 2 times.
Why did you watch it a second time? And by the
um,
way, for the
yeah.
record, this is sort of a public announcement. You get the most out of a program like that when you watch it a second or third time. And I know personally, when I've gone through an in-depth program, that it's that second or third time, it's like, wow, now this is clicking. So anyway, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. The second time I watched it, it was because I was asked to do a presentation at the school in-service day about the Qnity Money for Schools program. And, because I think there was excitement, but there was a lot of, I'm not totally sure how this works. I'm not sure what to do. And, at this point, I'm a part-time instructor. So I had probably a little more time. The full-time instructors are so busy with everything else that they have to do, and all the paperwork for the state and like all that other stuff. And I think that it was a good place for me to come in and say, all right, this is why you should think this is cool, and this is where you can put it in, and this is, this is how it's going to benefit all of us. But just giving them a little bit more. But I also wanted to make sure I knew it a little better, so that's why I watched it again. I did not watch it all at the same time again like I did the first time.
Yeah.
But I broke it up into bits and pieces.
The Money Pro version of it, which we thought we were just going to take the student version of it and do a little tweaks here and edit out this, edit in that. And it's like, no way. We redid the whole program. Anyway, I can't wait for you to go through the Money Pro program, because that is for someone a little further in life. They're already earning money, and so the conversation is a little bit different. And we introduce 5 money metrics. So it's much more specific and measurable, and, helping people increase their credit score, increase their savings, increase their earnings, lower their debt, and lower their spending. And then intangible outcomes are greater money confidence, peace of mind, and literacy. And so you'll recognize most of the program, but there's enough changes that I can't wait till you go through the Money Pro version. Mm-hmm. So we've had some cool ideas about a little more collaboration, which a little premature to get into that in great depth, but let's just put it this way. It's really great to have instructors that have this real world experience, like most instructors do, and have a passion for helping other people have greater financial wellness. So thank you for that and everything else. I didn't know this about you. I mean, I knew you when you were working. I've known you a long time. Knew when you're working at the salon, but I didn't even realize that you were doing instructing part-time. And the more I talked, the more I heard about it, I was like, wow, I got to talk to Mo. So it's awesome. Mo, we're gonna wrap up here in a moment here. And do you have any other final words of wisdom today for our community? And we should probably start reading the chat in a moment here, but any words of wisdom?
It just occurred to me just when you were talking about the metrics that this is stuff that it's so foundational. I think that a lot of people think money is so complicated because all we ever hear about money is complicated things like stocks and bonds and market things and inflation and stuff like that. And it really doesn't have to be. So bringing it back to kind of a real world thing, if you know how much comes in and how much goes out and how it all works, anyone can learn this. That's what I think I was really drawn to by this, is that simplicity that anyone can learn it. And you don't have to be a genius, and you don't have to have an MBA, and you don't have to have all this stuff. Anyone can do this. That's it. I mean, that's basically, I think, why I got so excited. I would love if my brain worked as an economist brain works, because I think it's interesting. It doesn't. I can't remember. I don't know formulas. I got like F- in statistics. It's not how my brain works. But this works for me, and it will work for a lot of people.
I did you just grade yourself an F-?
Yes. I'll have to tell you sometimes about how I almost failed a 100 level statistics class in college as a senior.
Well, all right. So, I tell you what, I've repeated this phrase so many different times. It's a quote by Will Rogers, and it goes, everybody's ignorant only on different subjects.
True.
The alternative to that, my paraphrase, is everybody's brilliant only in different subjects. So let's celebrate your brilliance. And I think your brilliance, there's a lot of brilliance, but I think the brilliance that you're going to bring to this community is you're going to make this topic very accessible for someone that may be resistant of going through a course on money, or may make assumptions about it, or may not really think it's important. No, I came here to learn my craft, so we need people like you on the front line. I mean, this is we've got this compensation study showing this is a great career, and proven it from a financial standpoint in so many other ways. But people got to optimize it. Like you said, they've got to stick it out long enough, and one of the things we found in the comp study was that that second year and fifth year are just, sorry, Tracy, I had to laugh. I kissed the ground when I passed college math courses. Oh my God. Anyway, second and fifth year are really important in terms of getting jumps in earnings. It's funny. I think you can be really good at a lot of skills and still good at a lot of different things that are math and numbers related without necessarily being good at math. All right. I got into I wanted to be an architect, and I was told when I was in high school, I was working in a grocery store, and these architects would come in, really cool guys. And I revealed one day I was kind of introverted back then, still am a little bit introverted. And I mentioned that to them, and they said, "Oh, you've got you got to take all the math courses you can." And so as a high school student, I said, "I'm out of here." And I literally decided that I wasn't going to go to architecture because of I wasn't that passionate about math. It's another story how I ended up becoming an accountant and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Mo, thanks for joining us today. You are so awesome. Read those comments. You're going to go crazy with all the great comments for you. Let's celebrate Mo here today. Mo, this is your $1 million light bulb, and
Nice.
This will officially bring you into the brain trust. Ton of light bulb moments today. JP is going to ascribe them. What a great guest you are. Can I have you back as a guest?
Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah. The Wednesdays, that might get a little iffy, but yes, absolutely. I will come back.
All right. Well, read the comments, chat to people, and keep it. We'll be watching for the update, and prayers for the surgery.
Thank you so much, everybody.
All right. So great session. Don't go anywhere, anybody. Now, and by the way, our golden light bulb recipient, Sam Bricata. Sam, if at some point you're willing to come off a mic, you've got to tell us about the bike accident. Okay. So Sam Bricata, if you want to stay quiet, that's fine. But if you're willing to come off mic, I would actually like to hear about the bike accident and hear from you that you're okay. So, I might hear Sam pop up in a moment here. Who knows? I'm going to let those managing the meeting here decide on that. But let's see who we got with us today here. All right, who do we got? Oh, we always have a good group. Allison and Amanda and Anna and Andrea and Andrew and Bridget and Candace, Casey, Cheyenne, Christine, Connie, Dawn, Aaron, Heather, Holly, Jan. Hi, Joe and Karen and Carrie and Kelly and Kevin. Hey, Kevin, good to see you on there. Hi, Marie, Melissa, Patricia, Philip Gould. I hope you're doing well, Philip. I would love to talk to you one of these days. Roberto, I hope you are doing well today. And my neighbor just north of me in Canada. Hello, Sam. Hello, Sam J. Santana, Terry, Tracy, Vanessa, Whitney, and Winona. So, all right. Now, I think, let me see what else I have to share today. I think I don't have anything major to share. Shout out to Pivot Point sponsors. They're partners in crime for the student version of the money program. Lightheart Sanders. I see Kevin is on today. Hey, Kevin, I think we've got other members of your team today. They sponsor this roundtable. Remember, financial wellness and pro beauty is something we can all do something about. So hopefully you'll get a chance to experience one of our programs or support this cause in some way, shape, or form. And so let's just see here. Is Sam going to? Okay. Oh, Sam, you're gonna. Okay. So let's have Sam come. There he is.
No camera though.
What happened?
Well, I was coming back from a doctor's appointment yesterday morning, coming down 7th Avenue in New York City, and someone stepped off the curb in front of me, and I was going very slow, but I hit a patch of oil that was wet from the rain early yesterday morning, and I went down and I hit my chin fortunately on a piece of wood, not the concrete, and I cut my chin open, so I have stitches. I just noticed the stitches are blue. They use blue wire or whatever the hell they use. And I have my left knee swole up literally as big as a baseball. It really frightened me. So we dashed over to the emergency room. I got scrapes and bruises and stitches and all that, but I'm really fine. You know, I love riding the bicycle. I've ridden the bicycle since I introduced them here. I ride almost every single day to and from work. You know, I've been on these calls before listening off of.
I know, that's why we were laughing about it. Is I was like, Sam, be careful when you're listening to this program when you're riding your bike. Well, all right, so you actually have some facial related things.
Yeah.
You know, oh, okay, man, take it easy.
Yeah. And I just want to say that mistakes and what Mo was just talking about, learning from mistakes, I just love listening to her. It was just perfect. But
what a great guest, huh, Sam?
Yeah,
was
really, really great. I wish I still owned beauty schools. I really do. Just to know this financial information is growing and being shared, because if you have money, and it's not everything, but it's so important to make it through the hardest of times, the most, challenging of times. And for me to be able to sit out of work for 3 days and not have to worry about anything because I fell off the bicycle, it's because I can afford to do so, because I planned it. And I just want to say that there was a big lesson yesterday, the day before yesterday, bicycle fall. And I hate to even admit it. I'm going to start wearing a helmet.
You weren't wearing a helmet?
No, I didn't hit my head anywhere where it would have mattered. I landed literally on my chin. But I think that was the big guy and this guy giving me a slap saying, put a helmet on and stay off the bike. There's no way I'll stay off the bike. So anyway, thanks for having me on, Tom. Thank you, Mo, all of you.
Have you bought the helmet yet?
I actually carried a helmet around with me and forgot it in the basket of the bike one day a couple of weeks ago, but I actually have a second helmet. So I have the helmet. I'm ready to go, and I'll be back on the bike by Sunday.
All right. Well, keep that damn helmet on. We need you, man. We need you. And I was gonna send you. I just bought a new bike helmet like a month ago. You gotta get new ones occasionally. So
yeah.
I hope you recover quickly, as Mo said. And so Sam, thanks for coming on mic here. You take it easy, all right?
Yeah, bye.
All right, everybody. It is 10:44. A great time to close this session. We not only move into the 4th of July weekend and Independence Day weekend, but we also have closure to what we refer to as season 4. And the first 2 quarters come to a close. However you define your calendar, this is a milestone period. So I do recommend to you that you, as a leader, take a little bit of time in the upcoming days to just step back and reflect, get closure on the first 6 months of the year, celebrate what you accomplished, decide what from the first 6 months of the year you didn't accomplish that you want to move into the second half of the year, what you want to let go of. It's just really a great time for some mid-year reflection. So certainly enjoy the celebration in all the different ways that you want to experience this weekend. But it is one of those milestone transition points during the year that I want to call your attention to. July 1st begins the second half of the year, final 2 quarters. It's a meaningful transition here, and do use the time to pause and reflect, update your 8 seasons and 5 functions calendars, and be ready for an even better second half of the year. We've had an amazing first half of the year, and we're super excited about the second half of the year. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. There's going to be some announcements coming up, but we will leave it at that and allow the rest of you to enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for joining us. And thanks much to Mo for being a great guest today. Bye, everybody.